I am back. I don't see any technical difficulties going. I just wanted to make a point, just based off of some current conversations. This whole notion of cancel culture is just ridiculous. I think it's being fostered by a bunch of unaccountable people who are highly insecure and don't know how to reconcile their mistakes. And so somehow they are in a position of power, whether it's trolling people or politics, to judge other people. So I want to get to this. Um, I don't understand. You set them all up and they still want to bug. Um, so TMZ posted this thing about Tyler, the creator, who's a rapper, right? And he apologized about, he was apologizing for uh, tweets that he had said against Selena Gomez back in the day. And he was trying to get ahead of the Twitter outrage machine by apologizing to this girl. Wonderful thing that you're doing, but you're apologizing because you're afraid that people are going to go back into your past and they're going to bring your past up as a way of destroying your present possibilities. The culture that we are fostering and accepting in the United States. And I just want to address this for a second because I think that, people love to bring up other people's past, and then they have the audacity to make these people apologize as if these individuals are above reproach. So I was having a conversation. I was engaging on social media today with some individuals about this topic, right? And I posted a response to this by saying, would anybody apologize about an old tweet? Stand on who you are and your progress. And I believe that. I believe that if you are a reformed individual, if you have if you have changed your life, your past should not be held against whatever you did, whatever you were. People have no right to bring that up as a means of destroying your future possibilities. And I see this on both the Democrat and the conservative side, where people are bringing up other people's past in order to make some type of political or social point about them, which has no relevancy to what they are doing at present. And I believe that judging in my belief system is that we can have opinions about other people. you know like casting judgment and having an opinion about a person are kind of two different things to me, because I find judgment to be something more definitive and something more factual. When you start talking about your opinions of somebody, that's like a whole other different space, right? So, as I kind of think about some of these mob culture type individuals who are demanding other people apologize for lifestyles or things that they've done in the past, I challenge these people to talk about what these other people are doing right now. So, for example, Candace Owens brings up the fact that Kimberly Klacik used to be a stripper to kind of draw this whole narrative out, the bigger picture of her concerns. And I'm thinking to myself, why does it matter that this person presently did something like that? First of all, she wasn't doing anything illegal. But then also, this is not something that this person is doing now. And then another conservative talked about Angela Stanton and her criminal history and her criminal past as a way of telling other conservatives, don't listen to this woman because she has a background that she has basically reformed herself of, but that is irrelevant because we're still going to bring this up. My thing is conservatives need to pick a battle. Because if you're anti-cancel culture, you're anti-cancel culture, and you're not going to use cancel culture type strategies against other people. You know what I mean? And this is where the contradiction for a lot of mainstream conservatives are coming with me. It's like because you want to commit a whole video to why judging other people is okay, but you're still not representing your arguments in a way that makes sense to what a true Christian would advise individuals that follow them. So I'm going to break out some Bible verses myself. And this is at Matthew chapter 7. And it says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." Okay? So all of these holier than thou individuals, whether you are liberal or conservative, who think that you can just go around flexing your power because you have a following judging people, just understand that some of those same judgments can be cast back on you and people will start looking into you. The second verse of Matthew chapter 7 says, "For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." So some of these hoity-toity Christian type conservatives who's out here judging people, just remember the Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 7 verse 2, "For the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Okay? Let's go into verse 3. It says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" Verse 4, "How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take the speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye." All right. So I want to go down to, because Matthew chapter 7 is one of those slap you in the face and get you right book of the Bible. All right. But look at some of these people, right? Because the Bible talks about false prophets, right? And it says, let's see. I'm going to want to skip to verse 15, but 13 tells us about, all the, here's the thing. We are not going to save everybody. There's a lot of people that are on bandwagon rhetoric and ideas right now. And no matter how much you try to bring them to sensibility, they're not going to come to sensibility. But the last thing you want to do is bring yourself down to their frequency, to the level. And it's hard because we're imperfect human. I've caught myself doing it too. And I'm trying to get out of the habit of just reacting to people with the intentions of destroying them with a point that takes away their dignity. And I've done that in response to people who have tried to take away my dignity. But it's something that we have to continuously work on if we're going to be better on it. And it's like we're all trying to self-improve. But it tells us, enter through the gate, the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter it. But let's go down to verse 15 where it says, "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are vicious wolves." Okay, so there's a lot of people who want to get your buy-in, who can spout off some Bible verses that somebody put them on game on or whatnot, or they're just trying to jock something that they recently saw because they think it'd be an effective method for their crowd. But we need to understand that some of these hoity-toity, high and mighty individuals should be seen as gods, idols, and they're okay with that without putting people in the proper perspective of who they are and what their intentions are. these are individuals, in my opinion, that you need to watch out for. So when I look at an individual, let's talk about the process of making changes, which is when somebody has reformed themselves and they have abandoned a lifestyle that maybe they presently lived or an idea that they presently had, to me, it is not beneficial to interrupt that reform, that continuous improvement process of that individual by trying to remind them or hold them accountable for something that they don't need to be accountable for at this time. So my thing is, do I am I a homophobic individual? No, not at all. Have I had gay friends who have made gay jokes, and we have had conversations and feeding into jokes like that? Probably so, but I don't consider myself a homophobic. I don't have to agree with the lifestyle necessarily for me to not respect the individual that chooses the lifestyle. And I think that's my disposition on it. People want to say that they want to judge people, label people as things that they are not, based off of things that they may have said back in the day. Am I saying these things now? And that's where I think people need to double back on cancel culture. Don't ask me about something that I said 10 years ago. Am I saying those things today? Is it an indication that I have these viewpoints today? If not, kick rocks. Kick rocks. I don't think anybody should be apologizing for a way of life that they have had or thinking they have had that they clearly do not exhibit today in their present. So it's not about not being accountable, not being willing to apologize. It's really about owning who you are today. You know what I mean? Who I was when I was 15 is not the same person I was when I was 20, nor 25, nor 30, nor 35. And I'm a much different person even from those ages. So I am not going to sit there and apologize for every little politically and socially incorrect thing that I've said throughout my life. Well, all I can say is that my conclusions today is that I have learned to respect people organically. I will not force feed nobody to believe what I believe if they do not force feed me to believe. I believe that individuals in this country have a choice. We need to understand, start respecting each other's choices as much as we need to start respecting growth. And I think it's very important for people to start respecting the growth of other people. And I think the individuals that cannot respect the growth of other people are the individuals that are not growing. Most of your Twitter trolls are unactualized people who don't care for themselves. They don't like themselves. They're not accountable for what they haven't done in their lives. So now they're trolling other people to be accountable for what they have done and how they have reformed themselves. That is what a troll is. It's a very demonic individual who is not self-actualized and who is highly insecure, and they gain their power from being behind a computer screen saying all kinds of nasty and demonic things to lower their frequency. And that's what I look at these people as. So I believe that the cancel culture of trying to make reform people account for a past that they have clearly left, I think is trash. And I think it speaks to the bigger issue and mental disposition of the people that are pushing this. Some of you people don't like yourselves, and you are trying to push other people to feel the same way. And I don't think that that's fair. And then I think some people who are trying to cancel other people are outright threatened by the deliveries and the impact that other people are having. So they're like, let me dig into your past. And what's befuddling to me is that conservatives are supposedly anti-cancel culture, and they're using the strategy all day long. Let me dig into your past. And this is not a person that was a politician or something like that. They're doing this to everyday people. Hey, people, look at the girl at Teen Vogue. She said something really very light, in my opinion. And here she goes. She lost her job. Couldn't even get her feet wet because of these cancel culture people digging tweets. It's like everybody might as well just purge your whole social media. If this is the way that people are going to start living, just purge your whole way of life before you change your mind. If this the people are going, or you can say, I'm not purging anything. I know who I was. I know how I used to think. And for me, here's the thing. If you are, this is the best way to get rid of cancer. And I wish that people would like just really catch on. Like, I had a very liberal mindset when I said that, but I have come into my conservative perspective. And so I don't think that way. Put it on the liberals, because most people, when you think about all this cancel culture stuff, most of these people have liberal mindsets. So maybe the liberal mindset needs to be canceled so that we can get on to better and conservative, more prospects for individuals in this country. Because cancel culture is a liberal thing. Just like liberals want to talk about Karens, 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 most of these Karens are Democrats. These are Democrat people. They done came up with some ignorant ass name for people abusing the term Karen. There are a lot of good Karen people out here whose name is Karen, who's not a racist. And yet here's the liberals hijacking, just like they hijack liberalism, because they're socialists at heart. Socialists. When I break down the liberal mindset, it's like, I'm going to waste my life, have a whole lot of fun, and I'm going to be in this friend group, and slowly but surely my going to be connecting for me and actually making something of themselves, and I'm going to be stuck doing a stupid decision. And then eventually I'm going to get older, and as opposed to me being 40 years old and actually coming to a conservative perspective that maybe I need to actually be of value to society, I'm going to figure out somebody to blame. And I don't, here's the thing. I believe that there are some people that organically have mental health issues, but I question this crutch of mental health issues that some of these unaccountable people are projecting. Because I'm sorry, your Facebook and social media feed says that you're having the time of your life, but when it's time to be accountable, now all of a sudden you have bad mental health. It's like, cancel some of these unaccountable things that's making people altruistic. We need to cancel people think it's okay to force feed your opinions and your way of life down somebody else's throat. If you want to be gay and transgender and all of that stuff, that is your business. And the only thing I need to do is respect you. But you shouldn't have to force me to acknowledge that you are a woman when you clearly are not. I'm a woman. I have my woman stripes. And I don't think that it is fair for me to have to be force fed with some man that has decided to get his self changed into a woman. You're still not a woman. You are a scientific woman. And that is what you are. And stop taking these woman stripes by calling us birthers and all kinds of other minimizing things that doesn't make us women. It makes me a woman. I'm sorry for the guys that are following this right now if you're feeling a little weird. But what makes women women is not just our appearance, okay? Wish these little nutty liberals would understand that. Women have stripes beyond appearance, okay? If you had a child, if you carried a child, and they always come back, a lot of women that can't have children and can't have periods. Okay, that's fine. Those small little percentages. But guess what? Most women can procreate with a man and have kids. Most women, they earn their stripes to womanhood by having a menstrual cycle. So when you have a whole group of women that talk about their woman stripes, their right of passage to womanhood, these women are going to be talking about the time that they started their periods. Transgender scientific women are not going to be able to have those conversations. You're not going to have that conversation because being a woman is a rite of passage. And how dare you women who don't be force fed these arguments. Okay. Pfizer gave you the hormones to think that you were me. Okay, my hormones are organic. Okay, you have to pay to be here. And I think that just as much as they want to be accepted into society, these people need to be accepted into their own damn category too. Okay? I trust the science did well by you to make you look like me. But at the same time, you're not a woman, okay? You can feminize yourself to the degree of a woman all you want to, but you're not. And I don't think people should have to be force back to acknowledge people who are not any given sex as that sex. It's like that's your business. If I gotta work with you, guess what? I will call you Cheryl. All right. But my mental disposition is that you die. And you can't change that. And you're not going to force feed me into believing that you're anything other than a man that has transitioned himself in the likeness of a woman. And it's like, stop trying to cancel because they don't want to buy into all these colorful little things that the liberals keep pushing out. All right. Because tomorrow, if somebody decided to change themselves into a unicorn, gets and let science freak up their body, so now they're a unicorn or whatnot, and they're saying I'm a unicorn. It's like, no, you're not a unicorn. You're a human being that turned yourself into the image of something that you psychologically associated with. And that is how I view this. So people are like, cancel you because you don't want to buy into all of these narratives. It's like, respect is respect. If I see, I was in the store, a transgender man, blonde, dressed in a tight dress, but unfortunately he still looked like a man. It was a man, and we engaged politely. I didn't mistreat this individual. I didn't make them feel less than a person. You know what I mean? Because my responsibility is to treat people with respect. It's not to acknowledge you as anything other than what you are. And that's just more 100 for me. So I'm talking about judging people and casting stones on people for their past. And I don't believe that people should be apologizing, especially 10 years ago. How many people are the same person 10 years ago? If you are the same person that you were when you made a statement 10 years ago, you have not progressed in your mind at all. Most people can say that I grew up even 5 years ago. I don't think the same from when 5 years ago. Most logical and progressive minded people are changing every day. They are living life, they are experiencing life, they are messing up, they are understanding people more and more, and they're making adjustments, right? And so when you get to that point where you feel like you have reformed, which is a process or whatnot, I don't think that anybody's right to come bring your past on you in your reformed state. So I think people need to start standing up for themselves. If you are not the same person that you were 10 years ago, stand on you today. I don't talk about what I said 10 years ago because it's irrelevant to who I am today. These cancel culture people don't make any sense. And like I said, most of them are riddled with insecurity and unreconciled accountabilities, traumas, and issues that they don't want to face. So they think it's okay to just go ahead and bully everybody else. And the power comes from being computer screen, behind a computer screen, trying to cancel an individual who has made the executive decision to change their life or do something different. Do I agree with Chrissy Teigen? Hey, what's up, my friend? I had to get in because, I got bum rushed today on a TMZ post by some ignorant liberals because I made the statement that I don't feel like people should be apologizing for things that they did in their past, especially if they are different people. You know what I mean? It's like, are you the same person that you were even 5 years ago? I know I'm not. I know, shoot, I just really fully embrace Black conservatism last year, right? And my mind has opened up and unlocked all kinds of different ways. So I damn sure am not the same person that I was before. And I'm ever changing in my new perspective. So it's like, will I be apologizing if a passionate liberal, like you said that? I sure did. I did say that. But I was in a liberal state of mind when I said that, and I have changed. So I'm not going to talk about that any further. Do you want to apologize? No. Why would I apologize? I've changed. I'm reformed. I'm not that same person. Get out of my face with that. No, people grow and evolve into themselves as they age. Absolutely. Like I said, if you are the same person that you were 5, 10 years ago, then you have a right to be canceled because you're not growing. You're not elevating yourself in your mentality. You're not elevating yourself in your life experiences. And typically, you are probably doing the same dumb things and making decisions that's not elevating you as a person. You know what I mean? But when you can tell an individual, I've had friends that were just wow. And 5 years later, we lose touch, and they like a totally different person. And you like, dang, what happened to you? I never. They done married, they done settled down, they got kids, they got a stable life, and you just like, why are you doing your thing? You know what I mean? But how, but then, you kind of shake their progress when you're like, man, I remember when this guy used to do all this and this guy used to do all that. People think of it as joking, but typically the person that's doing all that, I remember when you used to do this, that, these are unactualized people. These are people that are jealous of that person's progress. And now they're trying to cast this silent shade by talking about what you did in your past. That's jealousy. There are some people in this world that are jealous of elevating people. You may have a friend that throws shade on you for doing something that betters yourself. And you have to think about these type of people. They're not your friends. I used to be a Democrat. I'm way more conservative now. I lean towards the right, but I do not consider myself Republican. I don't consider myself Republican either. I think I'm more on the libertarian side, but I think that closer to, they say you typically get that conservative perspective. They say, what do they say in college? You're a liberal, but later when you get 40, you're conservative. I'm a believer in that mindset. I really do believe in that because I feel like individuals are. Hi. I'm right here, Mom. I'm right here. Here, go give this to Dylan and tell her to check that out. So my son, he's a stage 10 clinger, and I'm trying to get him, like, I'm trying not to let him just cling on to me because I'm trying to raise a man, y'all. As a man, I mean, my daddy, his dad is in his life too, but his dad, he don't really, he don't really, he's not that tough guy. He's more like that womanizer. So my son is definitely going to be a womanizer, but I need got his inner Hemingway. Hemingway, Ernest wrote about the man's man. I need my son to be a Hemingway man because they are really trying to rob the masculinity of men. Misery does love company. Misery loves company. And the thing is, I talked about this, when you have a friend group, a lot of people, they start feeling against the world when their friend group starts to elevate above them. People don't realize friends outgrow each other. Friends absolutely outgrow. You may have friends who may be stuck on stupid, and that friend has decided that I want to elevate myself. I want to do something different with myself. I want to do something different. And the more they do something different and elevate themselves, the more they become removed from the silly, whimsical behaviors that they used to engage with. I'm looking at my Wi-Fi right now, playing tricks on me. Hopefully I'm not guys. But people outgrow people, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to cancel your friends. Sometimes my thing is cancel culture. To me, it's like people need to go deep down to the individual level. And some of these wacky, unactualized liberals are mixed up with friends who are just loyal to them, and they need to break up with those friends. I outgrew everyone from my past. Me too. I realized that, when I looked back on my social experience, I used to party, I used to blog a lot in Detroit, and I would go to a lot of techno parties, house parties, have a lot of fun with a lot of people. Some of these people came from very well off areas, and then some were just straight city people. And what I noticed is that, like, after a while going to these parties, I was sort of like almost like I was like going to the parties. I really wasn't sure what kind of experience I wanted to get out of them over time, because it was like all my friends were like, yeah, yeah, we're going to this party. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I found myself, less and less connected with the scene. I found myself observing the people more versus enjoying the party. And what I realized is that, many of my friends that I met on the party scene, they were good people, but they were not actualized people. A lot of these people were just aimless. Like, I don't know what I'm good at. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. They haven't firmly established themselves in a passion. And so I find that a lot of people these days have not firmly established themselves in a passion, a skill, or a capability that's actually marketable to society. So these people are, in my opinion, they're unactualized and they're sympathy junkies. And these are the people who tend to be super altruistic and playing the victim card. A lot of these people are victims of themselves. Shoot, I hang with a guy 25 years older than me, more my age, old school. Yep, hot rod dude. I love old school people. I'm telling you, I enjoy the mindset of old school people. I just don't enjoy the mindset of old school people that continues to marginalize the mind. You know what I mean? So I'm very selective in my old school logic. You know what I mean? Because, even sometimes the older people can just shake your mind. Like I said, no disrespect. I did make a point, and I want to retract to say that I said that I don't listen to blacks over 50. I listen to majority of blacks over 50, because I say that they're addicted to generational rhetoric. It's not very useful to new generations of blacks. But I find that older, more mature people who have actualized themselves at least come into some realization of being their individual self and who they are. I find much more meaningful conversation with them, and honestly, it's conservatives. And I think about my conversations with conservative minded people versus liberal minded people, and it's like when I talk to conservative minded people, it's like, oh my god, this is so refreshing. You know what I mean? Like, you are a objective individual that can kind of understand my point of why some of these arguments just don't make any sense. It's hard being a liberal. It's hard being a liberal black person, to be honest with you. It's hard because imagine how many liberal black people go through the same dysphoria as conservative blacks that have come over into the conservative side. They are going through cognitive dissonance. I talk about this in my book. When you are dealing with generational rhetoric and critical theories that literally have been sprinkled into your life, and then you have these policies that create opportunity from your core area, all the while you have a teachers union that is committed to providing the bare minimum education for you. Liberal blacks are going through the motion. It's very hard for native blacks in this country to actualize themselves. Immigrant Caribbean blacks and African blacks have a much better opportunity of actualizing in America because they're not chained, infiltrated by the same mindset that native blacks lineages of slavery have had. So that's why when you look into the successful black space, most of to be Caribbean and African migrant blacks because they have not been infiltrated with constant reminders of pains and transgressions that inhibit their self actualization and their perception of their experience in America. Would you say conservative blacks are more goal oriented, actually successful than their liberal counterparts? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because they're living by what we call the black blueprint of success. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you can see that's my header, the black my cover photo, the Black Blueprint of Success. A lot of these blacks are much more structured and have stronger families than your native blacks. And a lot of native blacks, they don't want to disagree with that, but it's true. It's true. I mean, you look at refugees like Ilhan. She's coming in, jumping on a bandwagon of rhetoric of blacks that have been here way before she and her family came here, right? And she's being exposed to these struggles that she don't even know nothing about because she done escaped her own country to come here and get opportunities. It's a professional networking site. I most of my population and my following is on LinkedIn. I just started doing videos because some of my LinkedIn people were like, "Can you doing videos because we like your raw conservative perspective?" And I do give it to people. I try to be a lot more scrupulous. So I have made a decision that I'm going to treat my YouTube channel like my LinkedIn page because it tames my rhetoric and my language down so that I can resonate to, different people that want to follow it. I do have a potty mouth sometimes. But yeah, I just started really pushing out content within the last couple of months here just to share my conservative perspective. I felt like, a lot of people have been sort of misled on the Black conservative movement in a way. I also feel like it's not resonating because I feel like voices like mine and other urban conservatives are missing from the conversation. And I think that, conservatives should understand the wider range of Black conservative perspective. All the same, stick with the good conversations and information's being started. That's exactly what I want. I'm not trying to get up here to be famous. You know what I mean? I have a job, but it's like I want to be able to give people a diverse, objective perspective based off of what I know and what I've experienced, in America. So to recap, like again, we need to stop canceling people. We need to stop bringing up people's past to politically destroy them. And again, Candace Owens. Yeah, I'm on your girl again. I know y'all love y'all some Candace, but y'all know she can be vindictive sometimes. And I'm gonna say, bringing up people's past to paint a picture of who they are right now. Don't do that. Do not do that because we're gonna read Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 through 5. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is if you're a Christian, right? We need to stop glorifying people too. I want to just put that side note out there. I appreciate Donald Trump's vision. I hope that if Donald Trump runs again, that he wins because I feel like his vision and his plan for America was something I could rock with. But I don't worship Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump is not my savior. All right, up and above, my Lord Yahweh, God, that is my savior. And I think people need to stop putting their faith so much in other men and women, and put your faith in God. Align yourself with virtuous people. And if you individual is don't have the virtues that align with your beliefs and values, disassociate yourself with that person. But let's just stop judging. You can have an opinion about somebody, but what you can't do, and what I don't think is very Christian, is for people to be painting narratives about other people and trying to get other people to believe it, especially when these narratives haven't, as of yet, proven. So all those so-called patriots that were calling Kimberly Klacik a whore and a drug abuser and feeding into the ignorant rhetoric based off of information that Candace Owens delivered to you guys in a way to paint her as such. I invite y'all to humble yourselves. Humble yourself. Candace Owens needs to humble herself. But y'all need to humble yourselves because you can't just there be spouting out Bible verses and being evil and vindictive at the same time. So, Tony, my friend, as It's good to see you. I'm about to get out of here. I just wanted to put that point out there. Stop apologizing for stuff that you have reformed yourself. If you have and you are a different person, tell those people stop bringing your past up at you. You know what I mean? Tell them don't. I got a new phrase for y'all. Okay, when y'all get in touch with the ignorant liberals, start coming at y'all. Tell them, do not come Democrating to me, or you will get Republic. That's what I'm saying. Tell them, don't come over here Democrating because you will get Republic. You guys have a good evening. Bye.